Welcome to Bookie's Place, man. It's gonna be an amazing day. You know what we do here. We don't talk about the glitz or the glam. We talk about the grit and the grind. And we bring your favorite people to share their journey, to tell you their story so that you can see that if they went through that and they're standing, I have no excuses. And today, I have in the house the phenomenal sax player. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll for the one and only Beejay Sax.
Yo, I.
How are you, my darling?
I'm very well. How you doing?
I am very, very well. You are stuck in traffic, but we will get
Oh
this
yeah.
show on the road.
Oh
It's
yeah.
all good. It's all good. It's
Yes,
all good.
it's all
As long
good,
as you
man.
know what you're driving, you're pulled over, we're
I'm not
Gucci.
driving. I'm seated behind the car, so I'm totally fine.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, welcome to Bookie's Place. And let me tell you what Bookie's Place is about. One, so good to
Mm,
have you. Thank you for taking time out. Two, Bookie's Place is like a therapy joint. We don't talk
mm,
about the glitz, we don't talk about the glam. We talk about the grit and grind, and we bring people to share their stories. So that people look at all and see that, oh my God, DJ went through all that and he's standing. I have no excuses, So it's just practically equipping people with your story so that they can use it as tools and resources to do destiny. It's about ordinary people in their ordinary lives doing extra things. So when I share
mm.
them now, it's over to you. You can share your story, where you were born, and how you transitioned to music and how you got to where you are. So,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, DJ Sax.
All right. My name is Banjoko Bolaji. Of course. Bolaji is the name. That's where BJ is gotten from, and of course, I play the sax. So the name BJ Sax didn't come to me like that. It was given to me from heaven. As I always say, I started playing from my story is story of God's grace, but a story of not giving up, a story of trying to push, press hard at different stages in life, really. Um, I came from my parents were very rich, and then things went this way, and
Mhm.
that's even more difficult because we've tasted that kind of life before, and then things had to go south. And when I say go south, it was extreme. Thank God for saxophone, thank God for music, and that was what God used to liberate us from the problems that we had at that time. So I started playing sax from a very young age. I was in GSS 2 to be precise when it all started, you know. And at some point they said I was very tiny as a young man. I was very small, in
You're still
stature. So they
tiny. You're still
you've
tiny.
not seen me. See, you've not seen me in a while.
I'm
You've
playing.
not
I'm
seen me in
playing.
a while. But really, so they said people that could play the saxophone had to be big in stature physically. All this mentality of
Technical.
they are not big enough, or you don't have. So I just said, and I'm the kind of person, even as a young child, I don't like when people say things are impossible. I don't like when people say this thing has to be for a certain kind of people. I don't like when people just see impossibility in anything whatsoever. So I said, okay, so this so-called thing that you said is for the big boys, I'm going to try my hands on them. And to the glory of God, I started playing the saxophone, and I went within 2 months to the top of the school band then. The small band we had in the secondary school then. Um, And as God will have it, I got to GS 3. We had a family crisis, financial major one. So I had to pull out of the
You
school.
want to talk more about it or no?
Well, for some reason or the other, my parents, my dad lost his job. My mom lost her job. So they took our house, and we couldn't do anything. We couldn't pay bills. We couldn't do anything. So we went from the very top to, if it was zero, it would have been better. We went to like because we had debts that we had to pay, you know. So they were going to withdraw me from that school that I was learning from. So I was going to go to a government college somewhere. You know, I was going to go into all those government schools, and of course that was going to be the end of whatever it is that I was doing. But at that time, miraculously, I was getting better at, you know, at playing the saxophone. Miraculously, they created a scholarship for me. They didn't know I was leaving, though. They didn't know I was going to leave, but at that point, they started a scholarship. That's how I went to school for 3 years without paying a dime, as a result of course, what I was doing. So I was able to scale through that stage, that 3 years. And after that 3 years, reality came back. So I was going to leave that school, and it looked like music was going to stop. I was going to face life. I wasn't a young boy anymore. I was going into the university. And for me, that was when life really started. So I had to do JAMB and do all those admission things. I had to continue music. I didn't have a saxophone of my own. At that time, I used to rent, when I had programs, I used to rent saxophones to pay my school fees, to foot the bill, family bills, so many things, you know. So at that time, I used to rent the saxophone. I used to have to walk. We used to stay in Akute. I can't never forget this. There was a time I walked from K2 to Akute. That's like walking the whole of Third Mainland Bridge. Of course, there was no transport fare. You know, there was nothing that we could do. But I knew God had a plan for me. I knew there was going to be light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I knew that I was going to be something. I studied mechanical engineering, by the way. You know, so I studied mechanical engineering, and you know what it takes to do all that and then drop all that for music, you know. And more importantly, I'm not a singer. It makes things more difficult. You know how it is when you say you're a musician and then they ask, "Oh, what song did you sing?" And you say, "No, I played the saxophone," and then you'll be like, saxophone,
yes.
instrumentalist. Are you sure you really want to do this? Are you sure you want to make a living from this? And sometimes, you know, I can't say everything is all so filled with determination. Sometimes I doubt myself, and am I sure I'm not going to suffer? How many musicians are living the kind of life that, how many instrumentalists, in quotes, are living the kind of life that I see myself living, you know, in the future? Is this what I want to do? Would this really foot my bills? But I had the leading in me to keep pushing, you know. So after a while, you know, I started playing at campus fellowships, you know, I started playing at different churches, you know, 2K, 2.5. Out of the 2K, 2.5, of course, you rent saxophone, 1K from it. At that time, you know, maybe transportation, 500 naira, and I use the remaining 1K to maybe eat or do whatever it is. So it was a very rough journey. Times where you probably have to balance between the school and the music itself. You know what is happening back at home, and you know that you really have to make it. You really have to be successful either by school or by anywhere. You understand? So it was a lot of all that going on, and I started playing for a lot of bands. I started doing so many things. At some point, I wanted to go. I was almost going to drop out of school, you know. But God kept me. God kept me through the journey. God kept me through it all. So I think I was in 400 level, thereabouts. Beejay Sax started paying off, in quotes. And then the next order. You know how it is where, as a musician, you drop a song and the song would blow in quotes. And then that's how, but for me, it's not like that. You know, I do a lot of covers, I play instruments, I play instrumentals and all that. So the journey was tougher. The journey had to come with a lot of referrals, a lot of play somewhere, people like it. You know, you have to be at the best all the time so that they can call you again. You know, you had to, you know, we had to make sure we hit the bull's high at every program, you know, so that we can become relevant. You understand? So it was all that building through the years. You understand? Building through the years, there are times where you just get home and you want to give up. That's what are you even doing? In fact, there are sometimes I don't want to see my saxophone. I'm like, Oga saxophone, please rest. You understand? So it's been a journey of ups and downs. You know, things that there are so many things that are unsure. You understand? Things that we're not even sure about, things that we don't even know what to do about. There are times where you go for a program and you won't get paid. You know how you have an idea of how these things are, and they say God bless you. You know, they say God bless you, and like, okay. Fast forward to a few years ago, you know, when I also feel people would be inspired and learn from this. I had a lead-in to start a concert. The concert is called Beejay Sax Live at the hotel. That was about 3 years ago. 3-4 years ago, thereby. That was 2017. Meanwhile, everyone here, Bouqui'S was at my very first concert. I don't know if you remember, at the incubator in 2012. I'm sure you won't remember. Do you remember?
Remind me.
2012. It was at the incubator off COD Road. You probably will remember. It's been a very long time ago. That's about 8 years ago now, you know.
I think I remember, yes.
Yeah, we had yourself, we had Eben, we had Mike Abdul.
Oh my gosh, I remember.
Yeah. There was this song that came out that time, Amy Lele, something like that. That song came out at that time. Yeah. That was so after that first concert I stopped for a while. And then in 2017, I wanted to take it to another level. That was 5 years after. So I had to book a hotel. I had to get the concert. I had to look for corporate sponsors. And people thought, are you okay? Who knows you that you're going to get, if you do a free concert, people will even come. People won't even attend. Now I had tables for millions, 5K regular. You know how these things are now. But I was sure of what I wanted, and I was sure of I was quite sure that I had the leading to do that particular program. 1 month before the program, no support from anybody. 3 weeks to the program, we were shouting, doing adverts, doing publicity. Nobody. No ticket sold. No. 2 weeks to the program, same thing. In fact, the members of my team were like, are we not going to back down? Are we not going to stop the planning? Are we not going to stop the process? You know, what's going to happen? You know, it's another thing to have a gated concert and have a concert in an empty hall with nobody occupying the hall. Because it was looking like that. Nobody was answering us. But as God will have it, 7 days to the program, corporate sponsor turned up. And within 3 days, we sold out 1,500 tickets.
Wow.
In 3 days. At some point, we had to book an extra hall to accommodate the demands of the people. Few days to the concert, we had given up. In fact, at some point to do the rehearsals and all the preparations and all the things we needed to do, there was no motivation. You understand? So at that point, at some point, my mom called me that, what's going on, Oga? Who sent you? What's going on? A few of my friends even felt I wasn't ripe enough for that kind of step that I took at that time. You know, and miraculously, God showed up. You know, there are so many stories that I can talk about of times where I had to sleep on the road. Literally sleep on the road.
How?
There was a time I couldn't pay for my accommodation. So probably get a friend's car or something, sleep inside the car till the next day. There's something we call rub and shine. You wash your head, wash your mouth, wash everything. On to the next program. And then people will see us in church on Sunday morning and they won't even know what we've gone through. In fact, there was a time I was living in the church. I can't never forget. Sanctuary of Grace somewhere in Ikeja. I was actually living in the church for a while. You know, sleep in the church, you know, go to school from the church. You know, just so many things as I'm speaking now, so many of these things coming to mind of how, you know, the journey has been very, very rough. But we thank God we're here today. You know, so many things.
Wow.
All to the glory of God. Yeah.
Wow. I often say it that, you know, a lot of people don't see the grind.
No, they don't.
They don't
In
see the
fact,
grind.
till now, a lot of people still think I probably started yesterday and I came from nowhere. You know, I came from nowhere, I just springed out, you know, just came out from. Well, I've been playing sax for over 20 years now. I've been into this for well over 20 years now, you know, and people don't see all that. People don't see the grind. People think that you just wake up one day and probably get there and all the way. But, you know, all to the
Wow.
glory of God, we're here today.
We're here today. Thank God. Won't it do it? I want you to tell us, because you're speaking your stories now and it's inspiring someone to see that where I am may look like it's nothing. But if others have gone before me and they survived, I have no excuses. I just have to pick myself up, dust myself off, and, you know, start again. Tell us how you managed mentally when you left from here and you had to go from here to here, you know, with your family. Just take us through that process of how you were born into wealth and how everything was gone and how where you moved into and how you had to survive.
Well, first thing I told myself, I had very supportive and great parents. We knew we had to survive. We knew that we weren't going to stay so long in that particular place. We knew sooner or later we were going to get out of it. We also knew that there was a bright future. Of course, we just needed to keep on trying. So sometimes it could be frustrating, but we just tell ourselves as a family that, you know, you look beyond whatever the situation is at that time. You know, look beyond, look at a future, a picture of the future, you know, that you see yourself and you know that whatever is happening is not permanent. Whatever is happening at that period, whatever is going on at that time is not permanent. It's actually going to stop. You know, it's going to stop at some point. Joy comes in the morning. Weeping may endure for the night. You know, joy comes in the morning, and we know the morning is going to come. So it's easier said than done, though. You know, times of hunger, serious hunger, heavy hunger. You know, times of not even knowing what tomorrow holds. You know, time you don't even know what to do. You know, it's easier said than done. Oh, what's the Holy Spirit saying? What is, hey, do this, do that, hard work. No matter how hard you work, if God doesn't breathe into that work, there's nothing that you can do. You understand? So at the times where there was a time I was in a church, you know, I didn't know God. I was earning 15,000 naira per month at that time. It was a new church. I didn't know God was training me at that time. It was a new church, so they, of course, because they employed a few musicians, I was the choir, I was the praise and worship leader. I had to play for almost 2-3 years. I had to play praise and worship by myself for a group of very, very small people. I had to play praise and worship by myself. I had to play the special number, Thanksgiving, all those things in the service, week in, week out, for almost 3 years. At that point, I didn't know I was being trained, you know, because if you play for same set of people today and playing same set of people the next Sunday, you probably have to find a way to carry them along. You know, you have to find a way to be unique, to be different, to recreate and reinvent, you know, week in, week out. I didn't know God was training me, you understand, as a saxophonist. And of course, I wasn't singing, I wasn't doing lyrics, I was playing pure instrumental, just for about 20 people for almost 3 years. You understand? You know, sometimes when you see the crowd, it's easier to get inspiration. You know, it's easier to get, boy, yeah, just same people that you see every time. So you have to actually build serious content. You understand? By force. One really had to find a way to get those contents out there. You know, so many of those things come into mind. But of course, as I always say, nothing good comes easy. There is always a story behind the whole journey. You know, the process. The process might be long, you know, but at the end of the day, the end result is what is most important at the end of the day. So we just knew that he wasn't going to be like that forever. You know, at some point, if you keep pushing, things will get better. Concept of pressure, you know, if you keep hitting a spot, you keep eating that spot, after a while, that particular spot will give in.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so that's it.
Wow. That's amazing. What we do here is practical tools. We equip people with practical tools because we live in a world where motivational speakers will just come and say 7 ways to do this, 6 ways to do this. We don't do that.
Sometimes those things will drive you crazy.
You know, so we use your story. I want you to you've said it, that you knew that, okay, things were going to be better. And that was what you put at the back of your mind. But aside that, tell us a time that you almost nearly gave everything up. You almost threw everything up. You've said there were a couple of times like that. Tell us how you got to that mental point of not doing it. So when you wanted to do, what did you do so that someone can hear you now and not just hear the story, but take what you did and practice it?
Okay. So there was a time I actually dropped the saxophone for about 3 months. Because the whole process was driving me crazy. So I had school, I had the saxophone, I had family, I had so many things that I had to deal with at that time, you know. And sometimes you need to step back.
Look at the picture,
re-strategize, replan, you know. You can't just keep doing the same thing all the time. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to think, you need to find a way. This is not about aspire to perspire to do whatever.
Refire.
You know. Sometimes you have to actually sit down, step back, re-strategize. What are your strengths? What are your areas of specialization? You understand? What do you really want to do? Are you copying another person? Are you yourself? You know, those sort of pressures are what make people lose focus or lose where they're going to. You understand? Some people are performers, some people are songwriters, some people are teachers. You understand? But because we see other people doing different things, we just want to copy them. We don't focus on our area of strength. You understand? I used to be a very, very quiet person. So now when I go anywhere to perform or to minister, I don't speak into the mic. Most people don't even know what my voice sounds like, and that didn't make things easy for me at that time because I was very gentle. You understand? So
very gentle. You are
yeah,
still very gentle.
I can't really, you understand? I can't talk to save the world. You understand? So we're in a world where you have to charge the people. You know how all those things are.
Hype them up.
Yeah, I wasn't that kind of. Let somebody shout, "Hey, raise up your leg and jump around." These things can be. Or go and meet 7 people and tell them that I'm going.
Tomorrow is the right day. Tomorrow is the right day.
I don't do all those things. You understand? So I had to stay true to myself. I had to look for my strength. And capitalize on that. So sometimes all you need to do is to just actually step back. Think, re-strategize. Sometimes we're going through a lot that our creativity is even affected. You understand? We that are creative, sometimes we need a sane environment to bring out the best in us most of the time. So at some point, things were not working. Everything. I was failing. I had carryovers. So I just told myself, okay, take it slow. Step back a bit. Step back a bit. We strategize, we plan, and that was what God used to launch me out at that point in time. Another thing I want to tell everybody out there that has helped me is being prepared. We are looking for opportunities. We are looking for whatever it is we call it, aspire to perspire, and all these things that we say. And when the opportunity comes, we are not ready. We are not prepared. I had a principle because I knew my strengths, I knew my weaknesses, I knew where I was coming from, I knew where I was going to. I told myself at any event or any place I go to perform, I had to do very well. I had to be as good as if there's anybody there in that environment that has anything to do the next day. I had to be that person's first choice. It had to be that good. Of course, I don't have any song that is going to blow, or how these things are. I don't have any song that is going to blow me. You understand? So I had to be as good as if you have something the next day, you either cancel. I have to be that good that you either cancel your previous arrangements, or you could take the two of us together. It had to be that good.
Your first choice. Yeah.
You understand? It had to be that good. You understand? It had to be that good. We live in an environment where people don't accept some kind of looks. You understand? See my hair, my beards, and all these things. They feel that, yeah. I used to have a lot of this, people feel were of the devil, the kind of environment that we live in. So, but God has been gracious over the years. So, the glory of God.
Wow. Yeah. God is faithful. You're talking about weaknesses and strength. And you know what you said? Let me tell you the difference. Of course, what I've come to realize is the difference between a successful life and an unsuccessful life is how you live by principles, your choice
Oh
to
yes.
live by principles.
Oh
And you've
yes.
been saying that over and over, and I can see that that's why you're successful, because a principle never changes. The scenario might change,
Oh
but that
yes.
principle is, it goes through all situations. And a lot of people don't understand that you have to put your weaknesses on a scale, put your strength on a scale. Be true. See, we live in a world that we lie to ourselves. We
Oh
lie
yes.
to ourselves. I
We
tell
deceive
myself,
ourselves.
I tell myself, listen, you can lie to everybody in that world, but when you look in that mirror, make sure you tell yourself the truth. And you're saying all these things, and it's amazing to hear you say all these things. And do you have any last words for us? Because I know this is actually an hour show, but because you're parked by the road and it's late, it's Nigeria, I'm gonna let you go. But tell us anything that you think that someone that is like an instrumentalist, because you've spoken about looks, you've talked about looks. I had that problem when I came. And they were like, who's that girl that scraped one head and put one head? I said, they didn't even touch me with a 10-foot pole. Talk to someone that's going through that identity crisis right now, and they don't know where to fit and how to do what they want to do. What would you, if you were to sit opposite them on a couch, what would you tell them?
Okay, I see a lot of instrumentalists on the live chats, and I'm going to say a few things to you. First, you said something earlier that we shouldn't lie to ourselves. You know, don't deceive yourself. To yourself, be true. Some of us, when we want to rehearse, when we want to practice to make ourselves happy, we practice the things that we know. Of course, because it sounds nice, you
Mm,
know. And instead of focusing on the things that we don't know to get better at it,
mm,
you understand? Don't deceive yourself. I know there might be people around. You want them to dance to your rehearsal. That sounds funny, but you understand what I'm saying? The purpose of the rehearsal is for you to get better. So that's why some people say they rehearse 2 hours every day and you're not even getting better. What are you actually doing at that time? You
mm,
know. So be true to yourself. You know the right thing to do. Those things that you don't know are those things that you should focus on. To get better at doing those things. Also, whatever your hand find it to do it well. Sometimes opportunities won't repeat themselves. For me, I've been favored and blessed by God, but I also prepared. I also made sure that I was ready so that when the opportunity shows up, I was ready to seize that opportunity to use it to the best, to milk
mm,
it dry. You understand? It is very, 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 very important. Also, everything is possible.
mm,
Whatever it is that it is, it's possible.
mm,
Don't think wherever you are now, it's going to be like that forever. You know, you need to have that possibility mindset because it's going to help you it's going to give you the strength, to forge ahead.
mm,
You understand that possibility mindset? It is very, very, very important. Everything is possible. Whatever it is that you set your heart to do, you can be you can be a musician, you can be whatever you want to be, and be a billionaire. You understand? You don't have to always live the second life. You see, some people, because of what they do, they've set a certain limitations for themselves that
mm,
they won't go beyond that level because probably you've checked the past, you've checked history, and nobody has gone beyond that level.
mm,
With the people that are around that thing that you do. But things can change from you.
mm, mm,
Things can actually change. So wherever you are, wherever you are, things can change. You can change the narrative. You can change everything from you. You can give hope to the younger generation coming behind you. You know. So whatever your hand find, whatever your hand find it to do it well, and everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. The other part of that scripture is whatever your hands find to do, do it well unto the Lord and not unto man. A lot of people serve, especially instrumentalists, because my brand, God has given me the grace to be a bridge between the secular and gospel. So I can do brands like Coca-Cola, I can do all that. So I see a lot of gospel guys, and they're like, I have to stop being gospel because they didn't touch gospel. I'm like, I'm gospel, I'm right here, you know? So before you go, talk to people about the heart of service. Service. You said you were in a church for 3 years and you just kept doing the same thing. What kept you there? Because you have said, well, I beg. You know, I beg. Pastor, talk to me like this.
There are principles. There are principles. You understand? You have to serve. Service is very, very important. You understand? There are things that I do that even me, I don't understand why. There are things that I do that I don't understand. There are places that I go to play for free. People don't even know. In fact, some people still wonder that, oh, Beejay Sax, how will you be doing this? There's a place for service.
Remember my campus storm?
Oh yes, we were there for free. We went to Babcock, we went to a few places. You know, and I wasn't disturbing you, or I didn't carry the snare drum after the service. There was a particular one that we went to that it rained heavily, you know.
Yeah.
Service. And see, that was over how many years ago? That was over 8 years ago. But we're here to talk about it, you know. Only God knows we've touched so many lives at that time that we don't even know the impact of what we were doing at that time was. So I go to camp, the Redeem camp, every first Friday of the month, you know, to serve. To serve. I don't do anything. I don't get paid to do that. You know, so service is very, 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 very important.
Wow. Yeah. And to piggyback on that real quick, because it's a different thing to serve, and it's a different thing to serve well. You know what I'm saying?
And don't forget, you are not serving man, no. You are not serving man, no. You are serving God, though. It is very, 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 very important. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all other things. All other things, whatever it is that you think you are chasing, whatever it is that you think you are, material things, everything, every other thing shall be added unto you. You know, so sometimes people want to do it the other way around, look for the all other things, and then after that, now it doesn't work like that. Wow. It doesn't work like that.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
Listen,
welcome.
guys, you've heard everything he said. When you serve well. There's a difference between serving and serving with air. God loves a cheerful giver.
There's something we call eye service.
There's eye service. You know, God loves a cheerful giver. When you give to God, give away honor. That's why a lot of people, their tithe offering don't bring back rewards and fruits, because we don't even know where this tithe is going. And you think you are giving God, and God will accept that, you know. So listen, guys, it's amazing to see how God will bless you when you serve with the right heart, the right motive, because he's the one watching you. He's the one watching you, and he's the one that will repay you. You know, so wow. Thank you so much, Beejay Sax, for coming to Bouqui'S place. We're supposed to have like 12 or 18 minutes, but you have to go. Thank you so much. What are you working? Yeah, what are you working on?
So many things coming up soon by the grace of God. Beejay Sax, there's something we call Beejay Sax sessions. You know, we stopped it for a while. We're going to continue that. Beejay Sax session is about, you know, we releasing music, live music sessions. You know, we put it online on YouTube for people to watch, for people to get blessed. You know, my own kind of music also is not church music. I'm the light of the world, so I don't shine only inside the church. You know, so I do things outside. I do things for corporate organizations. I do things for banks and all those things. It's still music, you know. So um, there's so many things coming up. Stay tuned to our social media pages and
What's your YouTube page that we can watch it on?
BJ Sax, BEEJAY Sax. Keep me up on YouTube. Subscribe. Instagram, of course, you can see my handle BJ Sax B. There's a B in front of it. On Facebook too is BJ Sax. Everything that we'll be doing very soon would be online, and you can reach us via any of those platforms.
Thank you so much, man. You guys follow him, support good music. Let's keep this fire burning. So you aspire to refire and retire. Don't retire.
7 ways to change 5,000 naira to 5 billion.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming to Bouqui'S Place, BJ. You know I love you. Thank you for the support over the